All eyes on the end of Title 42 as it is set to sunset here in just a couple hours. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Wale Aliyu.
Hundreds of thousands of people are expected across our county this weekend for the big events. We begin with my co-anchor, Kimberly Hunt, where the turf meets the surf. Hi, Kimberly. Just a short time ago, President Biden made a rare address from the Oval Office. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. I am Wale Aliyu. The Fiscal Responsibility Act is the result of months of back and forth between Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. It lifts the debt ceiling through January 1st, 2025. A second plane carrying migrants arrived in Sacramento today, just days after more than a dozen migrants from South America were flown on a chartered jet and dropped off in front of a Catholic church. As ABC's Melissa Don reports, officials believe Florida's governor coordinated the travel. Comic-Con San Diego 2023 Take 1 action. We are live here outside the Omni on the 6th floor, looking across from the convention center. Daniel here is the captain here at Seaforth Boat Rentals. We went and borrowed a boat here just to take it out here. We've got some sea lions and some seagulls and a bunch of beautiful just scenery out here. I'm loving this view, and the weather, as you mentioned, is a little cooler, but it's all right. These folks say it's still going to be packed this weekend. Attention, attention, Barbie fans. The new Barbie movie, you probably already know this, hits theaters on Friday, and the stars aren't the only ones who can earn some cash from the doll's big comeback.
Consumer reporter John Matarese has what you need to know if you're planning to sell your old Barbies or add to your own collection.
A young man from Vista made a tough decision to amputate his leg nearly 10 years ago when he was in middle school. But he says that did not slow down his future. ABC 10 News reporter Ryan Hill shows us why he says it propelled him into a career that will change so many lives. We are on the verge of another billion-dollar lottery jackpot. Nobody matched all 6 numbers in last night's Mega Millions drawing, so the grand prize for Friday's game is up to $910 million. The picture-perfect weather leading to a busy 4th by the water and at our airports. We have team coverage tonight. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco starts us off live in Mission Beach. If you are willing to brave the crowds, the beaches are the place to be this 4th of July. ABC 10 News weathercaster Moses Small joins us. It looked really nice in the shot right behind Rachel there, Moses.
Here is that border wall right behind me. Some new numbers we got tonight saying that there are more than 1,900 people on the other side of this fence here in San Diego County. Title 42 expires at 8:59 local time after 3 years. It allowed asylum seekers to be expelled for public health reasons. Right now, I want to bring in ABC 10 News reporter Austin Grabish. Austin, like myself, you have been out here much of this week, and you're seeing just the sad conditions some of these people are in.
And a lot of desperate faces.
People are being asked by CBP to use the CBP One app in order to be able to go through the asylum process. But as we've been mentioning, their phones are dead. They can't get a charge on their phone. That's why they're begging us, the media who's here at the border, to help them charge their phones. Not only that, but they're also having glitches on the app. For more on that, let's get to ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen. Hundreds of thousands are packing the convention center and downtown. Wow, look at those pictures. I had a bird's eye view to the big kickoff from the patio of the Omni Hotel where many convention goers were staying. I had a blast talking about today's events and highlighting the things that bring joy to so many people. My producers and I were able to track down one of those people. Wendy All isn't just a super fan. She was part of the organizing committee in the beginning days of Comic-Con. She now lives in Oceanside and took us on a trip down memory lane.
Joe Schuster did this, and it's one of my treasures.
In Wendy All's Oceanside studio,
this is a picture of Stan Lee.
Is 53 years of Comic-Con royalty.
Grim Natwick, this was Betty Boop. Now, he was very elderly, and when he did this, he was losing his sight. His wife even said, "Honey, that's the last drawing you're gonna do."
Whether taking pictures with Addams Family cast members, Catwoman, or Batgirl.
At this time, Comic-Con was a size where there was the brunch, where you could buy a ticket to sit next to a celebrity.
She has seen it all.
This is Jack Kirby, as in the creator of many of the Marvel universe, and he is drawing Chuck Norris as a young man.
So
that's Chuck Norris as a young man. Yes. And this was at a brunch.
Right before a roundhouse kick, I'm assuming.
But before she ever got recognized for her contributions to Comic-Con,
My Ink Pot Award that I will smile next to,
she just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
boys in my chemistry class that they later confessed, oh, we had a crush on you, and that's why we invited you to Comic-Con.
From chemistry with classmates at Patrick Henry High School to having chemistry with others serving on convention committees. Through the years, she was in all the major rooms as Comic-Con went from local
It was hundreds of people, and it was at the El Cortez Hotel.
to international.
In the early days, Sheldorf called Comic-Con the Golden State Comic Book Convention because we were quite concerned that people did not even know where San Diego was.
That fear didn't last long.
After a few years, a lot of the New York people were so thrilled at how beautiful San Diego was, it wasn't hard to convince them.
Comic-Con didn't just change San Diego.
Comic-Con changed my life and my life direction because originally I was going to be a scientist.
She instead went on to become a successful toy designer.
I created this fold-out dollhouse.
Drawing inspiration every step of the way from the people she met at Comic-Con.
One year people would be talking about an idea, and the next year it would be a reality.
Yep, reality. The perfect word to describe Comic-Con from the very beginning.
I'm very honored to have been part of it. I feel very fortunate.
La Mesa police responded to what ended up being an active shooter false alarm at Lemon Avenue Elementary School.
I thought it was like a drill because everybody said it was a drill, but like I was like thinking like, this is not a drill, this is not a drill.
A confused 5-year-old TK student, Charlie Klein, was inside Lemon Avenue Elementary waiting for her mom to pick her up at the end of her school day, but mom couldn't get to her.
I need to go pick up my kids. He's like, you can't go there. And then I just looked up and there's just police swarming the whole school.
She pulled out her phone and took this video of police surrounding her school Tuesday. But what she was documenting, she didn't understand until later.
And they pushed a button on it that alerted the police that there was an active shooter. But the parents didn't know and the police didn't know. So the police came in like it was an actual active shooter. And I think that's what was scary.
A source close to the school confirms the janitor called 911 saying there was an active shooter. The reason he thought that? No one told him the school was having an after-school safety training and fire drill to test out the new security features from Measure V. The good thing is it worked. The bad thing is not everyone was in the loop.
And they lined us all up to pick up our kids, and it was just, all of us were like, kind of half joking that we all had PTSD from it. Like, we're grateful there was no active shooter, but you're walking around with, you know, police officers in SWAT gears and like big guns, like holding them, and you're just having a moment of what, why?
One of the good guys came up and said everything's fine. He looked all around the neighborhood. Everything was good. Like everything was good. So like I went home and I was like calming down.
I'm cleaning up.
We're in the chairs and the capes are on. Now it's time for a cut and conversation.
Coming out of Chicago, it was rough. You know, it's so much police brutality. You know, I've been a victim of it. And, you know, it's like, man, okay, what do we do about it? What is the solution? And, you know, the work that I'm doing is to be a part of, you know, the solution.
41-year-old Chicago native Anthony Temple says one of the best ways to minimize the trauma African Americans face is through ownership.
Because the more ownership we have, the louder our voice becomes, because then it becomes more effective because we're an asset.
We're sitting in his barbershop in Mission Valley Mall.
See how it fits, if you like it, and then go from there.
That sits right next to his jewelry store.
So this is where, you know, we do like our repairs, stone settings.
That sits right next to his cigar and wine company.
I wanted to do something that I typically don't see, you know, African Americans doing. So that way that there's a blueprint to go off of, so that I can share the information to, you know, show them what the licensing process looks like.
He built his businesses ground up, literally. It's all pretty impressive for someone who couldn't read and write until age 22.
Public school systems, they failed me, and I didn't have anyone to really identify what the problem was. And once I learned how to read and write, then that just took me to the next level because I read every book about business that I could possibly read. And that's where my success came from.
It sounds like you got 10, 20 businesses. When people ask you, what do you do? What do you say?
I just tell them I'm a serial entrepreneur. That's what I tell them.
Now this serial entrepreneur is writing books and doing podcasts.
You know, you want to be paying attention to.
Trying to teach and mentor the next generation, including his recently promoted manager of his wine company. He met Johnny Porter online at just 18 years old.
I went straight to the comment section and hope for the best.
When you start mentoring somebody, what are you looking for?
Consistency, integrity, to know that they're, just knowing that they're serious about their life, and that they want to change, that they want a difference, and sometimes, people, they just need the opportunity shown to them.
Take the man behind this Red Cup kiosk, for example. Temple met him selling stuff on the beach and decided to help him get established.
Certain people, sometimes, unfortunately, they don't want to give information, not just because they don't want to see you succeed. It's just sometimes they just are thinking only for self.
And that mentorship is now available to anyone who walks by his section of Mission Valley Mall.
Young black kids, they walk by and they say, man, you're the owner. And they're intrigued. And they say, how did you do this? Like, you own this, and they can't believe it. So, when they ask the questions, that's the thing that, I feel that, man, this approach is working.
He is just multiplying his businesses day by day. And it's just a great representation for black kids and minorities in general.
To get the exposure to see that as much as possible, to be able to envision themselves in those same shoes.
Thank you. The goal in this part of the mall, to make ownership a regular part of barbershop talk.
People ask me all the time, why do you do so much? Why is it that you're doing all of this? Because I have to have a sense of urgency for my people, for the community, because others have plowed the snow for us to walk through as black men, to be able to have more opportunities, so we have to pay it forward.